Well, Couch Critics, welcome back. We never organised who was going to start that video, but I guess I'll be starting it. We're going to be previewing the next match day round of fixtures. Thank you for the big amount of support that you've shown us in the last two videos. We really appreciate it. We're up to 630 subscribers, so if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Please like the video. It really helps the channel, and comment as well. But we're going to dive straight into a bit of a preview for this round of fixtures. Probably before I said we're going to dive in, but just probably before, obviously, there's a lot of stuff that's happened in the previous round with Melbourne victory, and we're still yet to hear what exactly is going to happen in terms of their sanctions moving forward. But hopefully that'll be made quite swiftly. Anyway, let's get into it. Friday night, Brisbane Roar hosting the Wanderers up at Dolphin Stadium. No sponsorship names here on this channel. We're going to be calling them by their proper name.
unless they want to, chuck in a sneaky bit of money for us.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then that's when we can call them by their sponsorship names. But until that happens,
will we change our name then? Will we become the
KO Couch Critics? It's got a good ring to it. And maybe we could change Couch Critics, the starting letter, to let's move on. Let's move on before we get any murky waters there. Brisbane Roar v the Wanderers on Friday night. One of two Friday night games, which is great if you love watching football. Samuel, thoughts on the match? No Charlie Austin for Brisbane Roar anymore. Wanderers are really struggling up front.
Yeah, I think you've got two kind of big talking points. I think Charlie Austin is gone from Brisbane Roar, but look, that's the big story. He was their main man. He's the marquee, and it hurts that he's leaving. That's got to hurt Brisbane Roar. But on the same kind of, like, has he actually added that much? We got an okay Australia Cup run out of him, where he scored some penalties. I don't think he actually scored many open play goals. Then we got an A-League's All Access episode out of him, where he screamed at Connor Chapman.
Yeah.
Has he actually done that much? His wife was better quality for the league on Twitter than I think Charlie Austin was. So
they added some real bants to the A-League community, that's for sure. That's 3-0 to the Mariners. Anyway.
Yes, we are filming right while the last fixture of round one is actually taking place from a couple of weeks ago. So Charlie Austin, I think it does hurt them. I think obviously he hasn't added much in terms of goal scoring, but he definitely adds a lot to their game. He's a leader in what's not the best squad, and I think that really worries me. Is without Charlie Austin, where do they go from here? Like, what's their game plan? Because I don't think they've got much about them, and there's worrying signs unless they can get someone else to come in midway through the season in the next transfer window. I don't like their chances of scoring much at all this season. Yeah.
Speaking of not scoring much this season, the Wanderers, I think, defence, I think it's similar to Brisbane. Both defences have actually been not too bad. Up front's been a bit of a problem for both teams. And I think for the Wanderers, they've been pretty solid all around, except for up front. Suleiman Kripic has got a couple of goals, but I think he's just missing too many chances. And I don't know if you saw the Western United game on the weekend. He missed a bit of a sitter. Marcelo put up a big long ball, and Kripic brought it down and just blazed it straight over the crossbar. So, like previous seasons, a bit of issue up front, but I'm pleased at how well we're defending and how well we're playing in the midfield. Although Marcelo did come off injured in our game against Western, and I think Ninkovic, or might have been the game.
He's been injured for a little bit.
Yeah, and I think there was someone else injured. So hopefully it's not too much to worry about at the moment. But yeah, I think the big thing in the Wanderers, they need to start scoring some goals up front. And if Kripic is not going to do that, they need to go out and get Luis Suarez or some other decent striker in January. Because Kripic is, I don't know if he came here and thought, it's going to be a bit of a walk in the park, and it hasn't turned out to be that way for him. But I think if we can turn around our scoring, I think we'll be doing pretty well, but we were pretty poor against Western United last week. And positive thing is, I don't think we can play that bad again. I'd like to think we won't.
You'd hope not. Yeah, look, I think Wanderers' striking woes are pretty evident. And I think Kripic is just the next in a long line of foreign strikers that the Wanderers have signed, who's just pretty average. Like I don't think he's actually scored some goals, so he's better than Pierre Vicari. But
his work rate off the ball has been great. Which is great.
I just don't think the Wanderers need an extra workload, like somebody doing work. Like Brendan Borrello probably has to step up and score some more. He's fantastic setting up play, but I think he actually needs to take a bit more of the initiative himself. Without Ninkovic, that's just, another attacking kind of. We all know Ninkovic can set people up and he can get lots of assists. So without him, the service definitely dries up for Kripic. It's kind of disappointing to see that Yangi hasn't really kicked on. He scored the goal against Sydney FC just before the World Cup, and so we're hoping that actually does lead to him.
He's another one that's been out injured as well.
Yeah, it's just, I think that really is the trouble zone for the Wanderers. That being said, I think they'll still score against Brisbane Roar because it's Brisbane Roar. I just don't think they look strong at the back, strong in midfield, or strong up front. So I think the Wanderers will take the win here.
I like your confidence, Samuel. I probably think it'll be a draw. It could have a 0-0 draw, ball fest all over it, but hopefully the boys can get up. Second game, it's the distance derby at Macedonia Park out in WA. Perth Glory hosting the Wellington Phoenix. I don't know if you watched the previous game Perth Glory played at home, but that Macedonia Park, it might only small, it might only hold 4,500, but it's a banging venue. The fans are right on top of you, hurling abuse at you. I think when Perth Glory play at Macedonia Park, it's going to be a real benefit to them. Just having those fans right there, like a real boost. And I think Perth can get the job done because they showed a lot of promise against Western United 2 weeks ago when I saw that. What did they do last week? I'm trying to remember. Remind me.
It's a great question. Perth last weekend, did they even play? They lost
1-0 to MacArthur. That's right. I didn't see that game. But they play really well at home. I think Macedonia is going to be real boots for them. So I think they get the job done against Wellington.
Look, I think Perth really need to make Macedonia Park an absolute fortress because their away form hasn't been good for about 3 seasons. They don't pick up many points. It's still,
to be fair, they've been away from home for the past 3 seasons anyway.
Yeah, and did they get any points last season? Like they were trash last season. I think they've improved, but they're still fighting it out with Brisbane for who can come last this season, I think. So if they're gonna have any chance of making the finals, they really need to lock down Macedonia Park. They made lots of signings in the off-season that look somewhat promising, some young players. Maybe it's just not yet clicked. Hopefully it's going to start to click. Stefan Kolikovsky, I don't think I've actually heard anything about him since he moved there. Mustafa Amini has taken on the captain's band since he's left Sydney and gone over there. Again, he's a shadow of what he used to be. And so I think they're going to find it hard. Wellington, on the other hand, are coming off the back of a 3-1 win against Adelaide. And Adelaide are actually look like one of the best teams in the competition this season, but they're making the most of being back in New Zealand, the Wellington Phoenix. And I really like the look of Bojadir Krajev, their new Bulgarian. Is he Bulgarian striker? Yeah. He looks really good.
The Polish player came out the other day. I can't remember his name, but he said, someone asked him, are you surprised? I was like, yeah, it's a lot better than what I thought it would be. So it's good to hear that expectations have been blown out for him.
Yeah, and I think Wellington, they've definitely got a chance. They look like they've got a good squad. You've got Ben Wayne up front as well.
Wayne Train.
He's fantastic. The Wayne Train. Costa Barbarouses is a live wire whenever he's on the pitch. If he's on, he's on. So I like Wellington's chances here. I just don't think, again, I see Perth a bit like Brisbane Roar this season. I don't think there's anything outstanding about them. So it's going to really come down. Can the crowd swing it? And we really hope that the crowd turns up in their droves to go and see, pack out Macedonia Park and make it a hard place. Yeah. If you are from Perth and you've gone to Macedonia Park or you're heading there this weekend, let us know in the comments what it's like, because we'd love to know what the atmosphere is like, what the ground is like, and what it's like to get out there as well.
Yeah, sure. Well, not Boxing Day, Christmas Eve at 6 p.m. down at the Sydney Football Stadium. It's the, with inverted commas, the Sydney Derby between Macarthur and Sydney FC. Mate, I don't know what to think of this. I think Macarthur on the day could be a real top 4 team, and same with Sydney FC. But for me, both these teams have been really inconsistent, and I think it just depends on what teams show up on the day. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to make of this game.
Yeah, both teams are coming in with 2 wins and 3 losses in their last 5 games, so not the best.
Yeah.
They seem to be teams that either win or lose. There's no real drawing happening on there.
Yeah, because Sydney FC, you beat Melbourne City, but then you've lost to Brisbane Roar this season. So it's real like, what do you want to do? Do you want to be a good team, and do you want to be a bad team?
Yeah, and we play really well against City at home, and then we turn up against the Mariners and just fall to bits within a couple of minutes defensively. And so, yeah, Sydney look like we've progressed from last season, but it's definitely not as far as it really needs to be. And I think that, look, it comes down to the defense is just still not good enough. James Donachie, he's just not good enough. And when you pair him alongside Aaron Gerd, who's absolutely progressing and getting better this season, lots of game time, so he's having to figure it out. It's fantastic, and I hope he has a really long future with Sydney FC. But when you've got Grant and Caballo pushing forwards, we are very vulnerable a lot of the time. Bratton's not very quick to get back, and yeah, so that's interesting. I've actually really enjoyed Paulo Retre. The last 2 games, he looks really decent, and just seems to hold the midfield a bit better for Sydney FC than Paddy Asbeck does. Yeah, I still don't think Sydney are really clicking though. And back at home though, they've put on some good performances. It took them a while to finally get a win at home at the new Allianz, but they're out to entertain, and so hopefully the crowd does turn up. Boxing Day,
Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve, sorry. So
and it's at 5 p.m, so it's a friendly time.
It's a great time for the families to get out. Hopefully people do turn up. And yeah, Macarthur, what have you made of them this season? Obviously they won the Australia Cup.
Yeah.
And
I was at the game when they won the Australia Cup, and they did enough. But they handled Sydney United quite well. But Sydney United's an NPL team. I don't know what to make of them. I think they have the potential to, but like I said, to be a top 4 team, potentially more than that. The same as Sydney FC. I just think they're a little bit inconsistent for my liking. Like they beat Perth Glory last week. I'm trying to get up the rest of the results, but stupid. I'm on the fixture.
Well, they're sitting 4th on the table, so
yeah, and that's not bad.
5th on the table.
Yeah, it's lost to Perth, but then lost to Victory. And Victory, another team that's been wildly inconsistent. But then they beat the Mariners at home. They got smacked by Wellington away from home. I don't know what to make of them. I think they can be a good team, but I just think too inconsistent for me.
I think Dwight York, and like you probably should expect from a Dwight York team, they're stacked in attack. Like Ulysses De Villa, absolute heartbreak what's happened to him, losing his wife in the off season. But to his credit, he's come out and used football as a positive outlet, because he has been playing really well. I think we've actually seen some good signs from Daniel Arzani. It's fantastic to see him back playing football. And I think someone like Dwight York is going to use him to get the best out of him. Like they've got options in attack. They should be a team that scores more, but they just don't seem to score that many. I mean, they've scored 10 in 8 games, but conceded 11. So I think there probably needs to be a little bit more about them. And maybe still defensively just not quite there, which, maybe Dwight just doesn't care about defense.
We're starting to run out a bit of time here. So you pick for the Christmas Eve game?
I think Sydney will take that one. Yeah. Probably, I'm going to say 2-1.
I'll probably take the draw there. And what is up? You have played Sydney FC already. Sydney FC's played Macarthur twice this season, and Wanderers haven't even played Macarthur. Talk about a dumbass draw. Anyway, on to the Boxing Day match, 6 p.m. So if you're leaving the cricket on Boxing Day down in Melbourne, hop over to Amy Park. It's Western United hosting Melbourne Victory. We haven't got a lot of time to go through this one, Samuel, so we might, I'll give my opinion pretty quickly. It's been a week from hell from Victory, and I don't think it's going to get any better. I think the club's in a real low. I think the players have been a real low, and I think Western United started to find a bit of form. That got him to the title last year. Privic scored. He's back from his little issues he had in the off season. I think Western United will get this job done in this match.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Western probably will do this one. I think Victory are just going to be down in the dumps. It'll be interesting to see what happens crowd-wise. Normally this would be a game that Victory would come and just it would be like a Victory home game. Not so sure about this one. A lot of Victory fans are really feeling low. And I think the key for Western United, though, this season to try and get back to where they were last season is to get Ted Lasso in and chat to Leo Lacroix, because he is a different footballer. The man has gone missing. I don't know what's happened. So if they can get him back on, obviously he's suspended this round anyway, still from red card. So who knows? But yeah, I think Western will take this one. I'm going to say 3-0.
Wow. Yep. Tuesday, December 27, back at, I said Amy Park before. That is incorrect of me. It should be Melbourne Rectangular Stadium. How dare I give someone a run on this game, on this show. I reckon this will be a really entertaining game. Melbourne City up against Central Coast. Central Coast just clean off a 3-0 win against Newcastle United. I think Central Coast is one of the most entertaining teams in the comp, and City, of course, the benchmark now for the past couple of seasons. I think this should be a really entertaining game. It's a 5 p.m. kickoff. This will be another public holiday because Christmas Day was on Sunday, so we get that public holiday on the Tuesday after Boxing Day. So I think it's a good family-friendly kickoff. I think it's going to be a really entertaining game. I think there'll be a few goals in this one. Jamie McLaren, is he going to keep scoring? He's scored in every game he's played this season. That's if you don't count last week that was abandoned against Melbourne Victory. Samuel, what do you think of this game?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think this has the potential to be the match of the round, because Mariners they're fun to watch at the moment. I think they play really well. Monty's got a great team. They're exciting in attack. Is this Qual's last game?
This will be second last game because the Mariners will play a New Year's Eve game.
Oh, fantastic to get.
So Melbourne, get out there and see your future all-time leading goal scorer, Socceroo. Get out there.
Yeah, that's right. Play. Yeah, and he's been starting the last 2 games, so I guess it's kind of, this is it for him. So he's on the pitch and makes things happen for the Mariners. I think they could surprise a lot of us this season, and I think they're hunting for the top 2 in this season. I think just the togetherness they have is incredible. So Melbourne City obviously lost against Sydney FC. Then last week, they were looking really good. Their goal that they did score in that opening 20 minutes was just sublime. The passing looked fantastic. Will the abandoned match kind of throw them off their step a little bit? I think they might still be a little shaken from that. And I've not heard how Tom Glover is. Obviously, he got a concussion, so whether he's going to be actually fit and mentally ready to step back out onto the field, particularly with it being at the same ground. Yeah, that could be an interesting one to watch. I don't even know who City's backup goalkeeper is, to be honest.
I think if the doctor gives him an all clear, I think he'll be keen to get back out there and just get back to playing football after a pretty terrible week for him.
Yeah. I still think that Mariners might actually surprise us here. I think they're going to steal it. I'm going to say 3-2 to the Mariners.
3-2. I was going to back Mariners 2-1. So we're there. We're back in the Mariners. So good to see there from everyone's second favourite team. Oh, I hate saying second favourite team. There is no second favourite team. You have your favourite team. But I think everyone's got a bit of a soft spot for the Mariners. The final game of the match day round is Adelaide United hosting Newcastle United. And for me, I don't think Adelaide can play as bad as they did against Wellington. And Newcastle, just after a really decent start of the season, they just look all sorts at the moment. Although they did beat the Mariners, and then they've just lost them in the space of 4 or 5 days. So make of it what you want. I think Adelaide should win this pretty easily. Maybe 2-3.
Yeah, look, I like the look of Adelaide, and so that made their result against the Phoenix just really interesting. Yeah. Is Craig Goodwin the best player in the league right now?
On form, I'd probably have to say he is.
Like that free kick against Wellington.
I mean, he's no Callum Neuenhoff right now, but he's pretty good.
Yeah, look, Callum Neuenhoff, absolutely. I'd
say
Craig is just incredible. Yeah, like what he's doing, and he's showing no real signs of slowing down right off the back of the World Cup, and he's just like, hey, I'm just gonna come and smash this. I can score against France. I can score against anyone. So I think he's a deadly weapon. The fact that he's in the A-League is just nuts. He's so good.
And I don't think he'll be going anywhere anytime soon. I don't think he'll be.
No, I don't think so. And Adelaide have a fairly decent squad. I wonder about their backline a little bit. And obviously they got One Day and Isaias who are slowing down. And you got Yavi Lopez as well. Those 3 guys just don't seem to be playing as well as previous seasons. So I would like to see them kind of promote some of those young players through. Louis Dorigo, I think, deserves more game time. I rate him. But I think Adelaide have a really decent side with Iwasuki up front as well. Craig Goodwin, Iwasuki, and Ben Halloran. Actually, did Ben Halloran, he got a red card last weekend as well, so he won't be playing in this round. He got 2 yellow cards against the Phoenix, so maybe there's a spot for someone else to come and show some goods. But yeah, I think Adelaide will have too much. I think they'll win this. Yeah, probably 3-1. I'm going to say at home.
This will be Adelaide's first home game after the World Cup, and so hopefully we can get a good crowd out there, a good reception to Craig Goodwin, one of our national heroes from the World Cup. So if you're over there in South Australia, we're sorry. But get out there and watch the game. Now, we're not Lucy Zelich. We're not going to rip into Adelaide too much. But anyway, that wraps up the round. Now, let us know in the comments. Really appreciate your feedback on this one. Do you like these round reviews? Because if you like them, and if the numbers do quite well, we'll probably keep doing them. But if you don't, that's fine. Let us know, and we'll bin them, and we might do some other different content. But if you've been with us so long, if you've been with us this long, give us a like. Subscribe, share the video, let us know your tips in the comments, and maybe give a score preview. Maybe you can get a clean sweep and we might give you a prize. The prize is our satisfaction. You get a shout out on the channel.
Help us get towards 1,000 subscribers. When we start bringing in that ad revenue, then we'll start giving out prizes. Hey,
50 cents a video, baby. Let's go. Cool. Well, anyway, thanks for hanging around for this long, and we'll see you in the next video.